last step in the process of a teapot. So here is my teapot so far. I have a knob on now. I did a little bit of design work. I like the messy textural look that this thing's got. I'm not sad about it. I think that the key is for it to be consistent. I will get that stuff kind of taken care of though. So I'm going to give this an overall quick look, but I like the slap-tastic fit. And so here's what I have for a handle, okay? And you can see this is a handle that I pulled and made a little bit large in order to fit it on. I made it about the size of my paper from previously. So this, however, looks pretty perfect. So I may design-wise change it a little bit. So we'll see. Here is the key that I would say about a teapot handle as compared to a handle of a mug. You want it a little juicier, a little thicker, obviously a little bit more stable. And the process is going to be really similar to putting on a handle of a mug, right? Do you notice how this is staying put? Like, it's leather hard right now. That's a huge benefit. So before I do anything, I'm going to check my proportion and note what it looks like and where I'm going to put it and how I want things to kind of look. And obviously this is gigantic, right? It's really too big. So I'm going to shrink it down a little bit and see what I think about it from here. And whenever you're going to do yours, remember, you have that slab handle that you put on before. It still is a little bit gigantic. Why I'm not taking my paper and figuring out the length of my handle, I'm just not doing it right now. I don't know. Sometimes I make sense and other times I don't. The nice thing about this handle right now is that it's mostly leather hard. It has a little bit of softness to it, so if I wanted to gently form it to a curve that's maybe a little bit different, I can do that, okay? So now that I'm looking at this and kind of saying to myself, yes or no, I'm going to start attaching on, okay? Now, this is the key. What I like to do is I like to find where my spout is and then have kind of like a place where it goes, a tool, like a ruler, so that my spout, I can line up my spout with my ruler and my ruler can just fall directly into the center of my handle. And that way you don't get a handle that's maybe slightly crooked, which has happened, recently. So you see where I'm going with that. So like that isn't an efficient pour. Placement of handle really depends on your design. So keep that in mind. And then from here, we're just going to attach. So I'm going to just start doing that. Scoring and slipping. If I am really with it, I may speed this process up. But if I'm not, which most likely is going to happen, just be patient and wait. Okay, so here is where I am ready to attach. I'm going to double check with my spout, lining it up. I'm going to mark where my handle goes. Okay, when I do that mark is going to come up on here and I can score into that area. So it's an attachment just like any other. Okay, now what I would like you to consider for a minute is if you didn't pull a handle, if you just made just like a straight up slab like normal, that's okay, except that you don't have a gentle slide from thick to thin. So as we attach this, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here, making certain, as I'm looking at it, maybe I have to make some chiropractic adjustments or something along those lines. As we go to attach, almost there. I put my water all the way over here because I thought it would hold up the cell phone, but really I have something else propping up my cell phone. So now as we attach, we have this happening, okay? A couple of things. You do have to clean up the site of your attachment because it's looking really messy and you want to fix that. So here's what you can do. If you take, this is the quickest way to clean a handle attachment. So if you take a brush and make it damp, not overly wet, and just slide that along there, that will allow it to just sort of mold into what you want it to be. Soften. It just softens everything up, okay? But that still doesn't really take care of like the fill clay. So I want to talk about fill clay with you in this joint here. Fill clay is not only a way to add stability to your handle, but it's also a way to direct your eyeball back into the pot so that you have this really great negative space inside of your pot. So let's say that this is coming a little too abruptly into here. I can actually take my fill clay and add in a touch of clay right into there, and it'll slide back in. So I love fill clay. I think it's one of the greatest things an artist can do for their artwork. So if I roll this up, okay, here's like a little wad here, and I size it up so that I just pinch a little bit of that edge. I'm going to make it about as wide as my pot. I'm going to score underneath here real quick and try and score a little bit larger than what you're used to. Slip this puppy up, okay? Take this and score and slip this in here. What we're going to do is we're going to press this into here, okay? And you can either leave the edge or you can smooth it in. So if I take this and just kind of smooth it back, and I'm working with my camera as like a navigator here, so not necessarily the best move, but it's a subtle thing, but also like people who really look at clay in a super dorky way like me will see that you've added on some fill clay, and it'll be really extra luscious and wonderful for us to look at. So keep that in mind. It's another extra detail. So if you have something that's a little bit too abrupt and you need visually for it to kind of swing back into the handle, definitely fill clay is where it's at. So I'm going to just take this and kind of slide a little bit of water into some spots and also dry it up in some spots and make this look extra fine for the end. Okay, and there you have it. Teapots. Who'd have thunk? So I have like rule of thirds and everything. Take care. We're going to move on to decoration in the next coming days. So don't forget, you have to have a thematic teapot. So I'll see ya.